that. Get ready to go. It's catchy tune. Coming up with the Wade and Carter Show, Obamagate gets interesting, fake NFL, and the end is near. A Republican wins in California.
Juan Soto is still 21. No touching. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Is it just me, or do you occasionally also picture Don Brubaker thinking about like a little hoedown, throwdown in the newsroom over at Channel 25 and saying, whoa, Bill Alexander, no touching of the hair or face. I'm live in 30 minutes. Take your best shot, Billy. What do you think?
No, not there.
Channel 25, they all get along. They did when Bill was there. They all got along. I think they got along as well, too. They sure performed well as a team.
He's now in Corpus.
He's got to be excited now. In the words of Magic 95.9, mucho lluvia. We have rain falling in the crossroads. Pick some numbers that make you feel good. It's 75 degrees in Victoria, Texas. That means it's about 0 in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Heading to a high today of 89, and it's raining. This afternoon, we should see some sunshine, but it's going to be, kind of partly sunny. It's an extended forecast. I mean, it's Texas. We could have a cold front by dinner.
We need the rain, though. Still.
Here comes the rain again. Little Annie Lennox.
45 in Calgary this morning.
We liked Elvis because he sang like a black guy, and we liked Annie Lennox because she sang like a man. And somewhat looked like a man.
Going all the way to 61 in Calgary today.
That's a lie. That's fake news. There ain't no way it's going to be 61 degrees in sunny Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
49 in Salmon Arm.
Sam and Arm?
Salmon.
Oh, salmon, like the fish.
Yeah, Salmon Arm and 69 in Puerto Vallarta.
What's it like in, pick a weird name, Red Truck? Red Truck, Canada.
I don't think there is a red truck.
Yeah. Oh, there's Red Deer. There's what else? There's Deer Nuts. What else? What are the towns in Canada?
Yeah, there's no red truck anywhere in the world.
Moose Knuckle, Canada. It's crazy. Camel Toe, Canada. They're crazy up there with their names.
32 in Red Deer.
Red Deer. See, I knew it was there. What about bear? Give me something with a bear. There's got to be a bear name in Canada. Bear Creek, Canada.
There's a Bear, Delaware.
Bear, Delaware. Okay, well, that doesn't count. That's Indians. The natives were in Canada. We're in Delaware.
There's got to be a Great Bear somewhere.
What is it? Why is it? I'm going off on a tangent here, but I have a question for you. And you're a great person to give this perspective, and I'm not being funny.
See what it is like in medicine. Medicine Hat, 32.
Medicine.
You want Moose Jaw too while we're at it?
Moose Jaw, Canada. Then I have a serious question for you. I'd be curious to see what our listeners think.
36 in Moose Jaw.
There you go. So here's my question.
69 in Puerto Vallarta.
Is it a supply and demand issue? Why is it that in this era, or is it passe? Has it already been addressed in the 60s and 70s? Why is it that in this era of like commonplace reparation talk and the things that we talk about making up for old sins, there's a lot of focus in our country and globally? You'll recall President Obama went overseas and went on an apology tour where he said, I'm so sorry we bombed your Hiroshima and your Nagasaki. Please take a couple of $1 billion from the United States. Why is it that the Native American, the American Indian, if you will, only called an Indian because Columbus was lost.
Yeah.
They were
Thought he
Native
was an
Americans, the indigenous people of this land. Why is it that the vanquished, if you will, the defeated, the relegated to the reservation in stereotype, why is it that nobody, even to this day, really stands up for the atrocities composed upon the American native? Why do you think that is? Is there just not enough of them? Like nobody cares? Like, is that what the deal is? There's not enough of them?
That probably plays a role.
I mean, I'm just saying, let's just be candid about it.
I think politically, that's probably a big reason. There's not enough votes to sway things. I mean,
never has a group of people been more riddled by stereotype. Can't handle their booze and they run casinos. That's what everybody thinks.
And we brought it up here. The Navajo Nation in Arizona was absolutely hit harder by COVID than probably per capita than maybe even New York City. Yet it didn't get any attention. We brought it up.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you know
California, the atrocities in California are probably way worse than almost any other state except maybe Oklahoma and Texas. When you get down to it, what they did to the indigenous people in the California area. But yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I really don't.
I just mean that as somebody who grew up in Canada and who's not Native American, that you would have a perspective of observation rather than, see, I grew up, we played cowboys and Indians.
Well, but they
don't bad guys, brother. They never won. They were like the Washington Generals. We were the Globetrotters.
They don't teach you what actually happened to the natives in either Canada or the U.S. because the atrocities in Canada are just as bad as they are in the U.S. We didn't quite kill them and get them down to the degree.
The U.S. did.
The cavalry did, but
except for Custer, he kind of got it handed to him.
Yeah, but I mean, there was still a lot. I mean, the Trudeau government and the liberal governments back then just rounded them all up and sent them to residential schools where they were abused by priests and others that ran those schools. So, yeah.
The other side of that, Ash, is if you look at it from their perspective, they didn't know that they didn't have deeds to the real estate. It was where they had lived, their fathers had lived, their grandfathers had lived. That's where they worshiped. That's where they practiced conservation. They took care of the herds. Did you know, and I saw the picture, that at one point the United States military killed 1.5 million buffalo to disrupt the natives' food source? Think about that.
But I'm not going to go on an apology tour.
No, I'm not either.
I mean, I don't like getting into this. Life was different back then. Decisions were made for different reasons. We manifest destiny.
You're trying to move west in a country that you settled. And I mean, I'm sorry, in that regard, to the victor goes the spoils. I mean, they got beat,
or swindled.
Yeah, or both, or herded. But it is interesting that there's not some group of do-gooders somewhere who's just crying out about the atrocities. And I mean on a constant bell-ringing tour, because I challenge, the descendants today have a worse plight than the descendants of former slaves. Black people today go to the same schools, they go to the same universities, they have the same opportunities. And I'm not talking about equal opportunity and all that. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying I think, given my choice, I'd say, hey, make me a young black kid as opposed to making me a young Native American kid, because I think the opportunities are probably greater today even for the young black American than they are for the young Native American.
Probably. And here's the problem. And you can look at Canada for this, where they've just thrown money at the problem and never actually went to solve the problems. I mean, I became aware of huffing as an issue because of Native Canadian towns up in, I think it was northern Quebec, where the kids were dying from huffing propane tanks and such. So what did I think it was? I can't remember which
That was
government
like
it was.
the Tide Pod ahead of its era.
Yeah.
I mean, hey,
It
go ahead
wasn't-
and huff.
And I think it was Jean Chrétien's government that just decided, well, we'll just uproot the whole town and move them. Get rid of their problem of huffing. No, you didn't get rid of the problem. You just relocated it.
Relocated it.
Took
That's
them from their native land that they've been in forever and just whisked them away. And they've thrown money at the problems. I mean, to the tune of probably tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yes.
And it's never solved any problems. And there's a lot of corruption. Those that get the money, it never goes out to those in the reservations. I mean, if you go to the reservations in parts of Canada, it's like driving through ghettos. It's like driving through shanty towns. It's a disgrace.
It's Detroit.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I just thought I knew you'd give me an honest answer.
but I don't know why it's never gotten more attention. And
Yeah.
and I but from a scholarly perspective, a lot of books on it. A lot of people do. It just never seems to have gravitated.
No traction. There is one reason is I hear a PSA quite often that it's for the foster care system. And it's interesting because I know it's a PSA that was prompted by their contract with the government regarding the casinos is what it is. Is, hey, we're going to let you have exclusive casinos in certain areas. But, oh, by the way, you've got to give back, and radio is one place to do it. And it's a deal about, we don't, foster kids don't need a perfect parent. They need a parent. And I thought that's interesting. Brought to you by the Indian Council on Gaming, and I'm just like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway, just a quick aside. I knew it was on my mind, and you folks get to listen into our conversations. I think that's candid answer. I mean, it's when you run into a situation where you go, nah, nobody cares. That's usually something we probably ought to look at. Nah, nobody cares. What did B.J. Nelson say?
Some of us assimilated into our society, but the ones that haven't have little hope. When we were in Arizona, we toured the reservation area, and the poverty is rampant. I think it's a hope issue. They don't see that they can overcome their situations. I don't know that they can. I agree a little bit. I don't think they can see it because I don't think they know that they can.
Right. Well, they probably feel like political prisoners for generations. Good morning, T-Lat, you sweet thing. Good to see you checking in.
See who else is in Tana Smith and in Phoenix. We're huge in Phoenix. I didn't check the temperature in Phoenix this morning.
It's hot with a dose of hot. I'll bet you $1,000 it ain't raining.
No, but she survived her. Tana survived her exposure to COVID the other day, so that's good. Scott Tomko, Bobby Leister checking in. David Rice, good morning. Jeremy Pena, Marvin Mickish, Bobby Leister. We're still at 49 YouTube subscribers. We can't crack that 50 barrier.
Marvin Hamlish checking in.
CWB and the Iceman's in. Chris Conrad, good morning to you. Randy Langston, Fat Pat, good to see you up and about and checking in.
Ice.
Bob Constantine, Judge Posey,
Hi,
Lisa
Judge.
Poole, Kelly Fromme, Paul Ebner,
Paul
Andy
Edwards
Ria
solid.
Jr.
You know that? He's solid.
Christina Wise, Rena Scherer,
Hi, Rena.
Mike Moore checking in from Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Oh, man, that's like almost Batters. Yeah. Manhattan.
Tannisco with a good Canadian town. Sycamoose.
Sycamoose. There was once a moose walking around out there, wobbling around. They said, "Oh, Sycamoose, give me some more Jameson."
Chris Conrad comes up with Great Bear Lake, Northwest Territories.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
all
awesome.
coming in. Yep, we got them all.
Great Bear Lake. Yeah, that's right.
Patrick Strauss. Yeah, that's called the polar bear.
Right. Great White Bear.
AJ Louderback, good morning.
Hello, Sheriff. I talked to the sheriff the other day. I gave him a call just to make sure he was doing okay. He was on that documentary, and he's going to come in at some point and tell us his thoughts on that. He seemed to think that what was his name? Rocco Castano. He said that he thought that was a pretty sharp young man. I want to get his thoughts on that.
Oh, I think it was the Arapaho. Is that it? Arapaho Nation in Arizona has also been pretty hard hit by COVID and hasn't gotten much attention.
Well, it's like I told my mother, and Mom last night goes, "Oh, aren't you just a bundle of hope?" I said, "Let me tell you something, Mom. At some point," I said, "you have to understand this, and this is just the cold hard truth. Nobody wants your aged parents to pass away like the federal government. They would love to have a little pandemic where about 60% of folks who no longer pay taxes passed. They've done calculations. There are spreadsheets. You can bet on it. Well, if just 30% of the population over 75 were to pass away, we'd save $80 billion a month on Medicare. Somebody's job is to run those.
And Social Security payments.
Absolutely. Yeah. So here's what you do. You come up with a placebo vaccine and you give it to the elderly first. Then they're all out and about. They all get COVID. They all kick it. And the government goes, yay. Oh, wait, we've got a newer vaccine.
Yeah. I think I'm hopeful our government's evolved beyond doing secret experiments against certain sections and sectors of our population, like we did through much of the early 1900s.
Yep.
Well, I say early.
Like the Germans did all through World War II.
Well, we were doing it all through World War II. Let's not be. Canada was? No, the U.S. Canada probably was too.
Yeah. But I've read stories of the Germans would break bones on prisoners to see how they healed and then set them wrong to see what happened. And
well, wasn't it in Tuskegee we were injecting African Americans with syphilis just to see what would happen? So geez,
crazy.
Uplifting talk for a Thursday morning.
Well, it's a dreary, rainy morning. We're not here to make you feel good.
No.
We're looking for some slogans to put on the back of some T-shirts. Really,
well, there's good news though. I mean, a Republican wins in California for the first time since '98.
Put an asterisk right there. All the mail-in votes have not been tabulated yet. The Mike Garcia is his name, and he's got a 12-point lead, which basically is insurmountable. And
combat vet.
They're waiting on the mail-in votes to be counted. Probably won't have a final call till Friday, even though the Democrat has conceded.
Is this a sign maybe that Dems are fed up with the BS, even in California? Because this is Congresswoman Hill's vacated seat that she gave up and stepped aside after she was caught cheating and lying about it.
Right. What did BJ say about going to the nail salon?
She had a big day yesterday. Went to the nail salon, had to wear a mask. It's my first and last time, but the young ladies are hardworking working hard in spite of the massive amounts of plexiglass everywhere. If you go to a service-based industry, tip well, and thank them.
Well, I'll tell you this. T-Lat now, let me just go off on a second here on T-Lat. T-Lat's she's a good-looking lady. She's cute. She's put together. She's athletic. I like her with no makeup. She gets up to go to the bathroom and puts a little touch of makeup on.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the dark sometimes. I like her with you wake up, she's got like lipstick on her cheek, but it looks good. I like
in the dark, it looks good.
With no makeup. But by the time we got over this COVID deal and we got the hair done, we got the fingers and toes done. Look, she said, my hands are ratchet. By the time we got the latest accoutrement is the eyelash doctoring. Got to get the eyebrows waxed. Got to get the eyelashes done.
Threaded.
Threaded. I'm like, dude, it's a pool payment. It's a pool. I could have had a pool. I could have had a pool in the back.
Yeah, but then you're still not getting rid of that payment.
Well, and then she's going to go in and go, I can't get in the water because I don't want my eyelashes to fall out and my hair will turn orange and my makeup will come off my nails. But you ladies, most of you are so pretty without a whole lot of work. Some aren't. You know who you are. Just go with it. I like au naturel.
Speaking of which, there's my beautiful wife, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. Cheryl's at home right now with her hair up and a cup of coffee going, right on, Brent. Biting her nails.
No, she doesn't bite the nails.
Of course she does.
I do.
You're going to stop, though, right?
I've tried.
Have you really? It's mind over matter.
It is.
Yeah,
it's one of those things.
You're against the 8 ball there.
Of all the habits I could have that could be so much worse for me and those around me.
You don't dig in your seat or anything.
No, and it's not self-destructing. I'm not going to die of an overdose.
I've never seen you bite your nails. I haven't.
I don't do it on the air. Maybe I gotta live a reality show my whole life.
Right.
That's the only way to stop it.
Ash Kardashian, you'd have to have a bigger butt. Talk about somebody who's got a butt for the job. Alan Miller, Alan's Rigger Service, 578-6300. Alan will come out, grab your vehicle, tow it where it needs to go. It's pretty simple, folks. From a you go to an 18-wheeler, he's got the right vehicle to do it. He knows where to take you. And he also, and I don't talk about this enough, he knows how to secure the incident scene. Alan can show up, get the cones out, get you to safety. You're going to be frazzled when that moment happens, especially, I'm not being sexist, the ladies especially. You've got small children, you've got cold groceries, the car won't go. Call Alan, 578-6300. Let him solve the problem. That's what he does.
Speaking of solving problems, VCS, Rocket Oilfield Services, is the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all part of the VCS empire right there on Kerr Boulevard. They can solve any communication problem, conundrum, theoretical issue you may have. They will.
Yes.
You bring an issue to them, they will develop a solution for your communication woes.
Absolutely. And I don't make a habit of promoting other media sources, but today, Front Page, right in the middle of the fold, is a very nice article. We've been keeping you folks posted about the Hartman family and young Ryan, one of the twins.
His battle with cancer,
winning, beating
pre-T-cell
leukemia.
What was it, 2 weeks ago, I guess now, or
JR
almost 2 weeks ago?
went in
JR
for
went
a-
in for a stem cell transplant. And
Yes, and
Dad donated the son.
very, very, just a really cool story. No surprise to me and Ash, knowing JR, it was an automatic. Where do I sign up? What do I have to do? How can I make this happen? And I just scanned it.
Or did I say stem cell? Like, was it bone marrow?
Yeah, bone marrow.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it is stem cell.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I'm not a scientist.
I'm not a scientist, but I will tell you that it's a great story, and it's worth reading. Make you feel good about humanity. Go back up and see what Sugar said something rude about you or me or something right there. Ashes rubbing off on me. Yeah. Well, we don't practice social distancing here.
Johnny Houghton, good morning.
But if you want to, if you got a piece of property out in the country, how about SCT Building Systems? You can go out there. I went out to Goliad and watched Clayton help pour a slab, and the guys came in with the plates in, and they were going to come back in like a week and put up the steel. Easy. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. 564-8864.
Give Clayton a call.
A building, an office building, a she shed, if you need a warehouse, a barn dominium,
Man cave,
picture it. Picture
weekend
the building.
escape.
Casey can help you design it. They are the people to make it happen. That's SCT Building Systems. And then once you get it done, you got to furnish it. Reach out to Bobby Leon and the great folks at Chestnut Furniture Company, 116 West One Lynn. I love Bobby Leon's commitment to this format. He says, hey, what you do is good for Victoria. It's good to get the news out there. It's good to talk about what's going on, create the conversation. Never has he said he agrees with everything we say. Doesn't pertain, pretend to. But I'll tell you what he does. He appreciates the fact that we make it available. You can call us anytime, 575-9509.
361 for those outside the area code.
01361 for you international callers. Give us a call. Don't be afraid. We're not going to jump on you unless you say something really stupid. Hard for you to do, though. I mean, hard for you to trump us in the studio.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
We'll take our chances with your call anytime.
You can take your chances
Right.
by calling us.
Yeah, we won't. We're not smart enough to really lie. I don't know if we've mellowed. I think I was looking back and I get a little reflective. I drive a lot, and because I also deliver pizzas. No, but I was driving the other day and realized that, we're sneaking up on 4 years on this little experiment that nobody thought would ever work. Just wasn't good radio. You remember that?
Yeah.
Wasn't good radio. Funny. It's grown every month. It's never cost us a dime. It's cash flowed from day one.
Appreciate
Very
those
blessed.
appreciate those that
Had the vision.
had the vision and,
Yeah.
and shared in it and believed in what we were trying to do.
Absolutely. I've never had to put a dime out of my pocket into this program. Thanks. My mom, of course, buys the airtime.
Yeah,
But think about the idea that
thanks, your
I've
mom.
given a bunch of it to the IRS. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy.
Got a day job. So with the day job, basically, after we pay expenses here, the rest goes to taxes. Kind of crazy.
Sure. Lynn's checking in. Good morning to you, Jeremy Pena.
Jeremy's
Says,
out of town
says
somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kurt says those two things ought to be on the back of a T-shirt. Unbelievable is one. I like that. I should work on that. That word's getting kind of tired. Y'all all know it. Mr. Apocalypse. I like that. I thought about putting one on the back that says, "This ain't your safe space." We aren't.
No,
we aren't
really.
your safe space.
Jim Hartman checking in. Good morning to you, sir.
Hello, Mr. Hartman. Great story about JR and the family this morning.
Bob Constantine, good morning. Let's see who else is in this morning. Christina Wise says nothing like a pandemic to get you to stop biting your nails. I just wash my hands more.
Right? I mean, if worms didn't do it as a child,
Yeah.
you know,
Dirt in
playing
the
with the
hands.
pill bug. Did you ever eat a pill bug?
I don't think I ever.
I didn't either. I had friends that did. They thought
My
they
mom even tried that stuff that you paint on that's supposed to make it taste bad. I actually enjoyed the taste of it.
Sure, jalapeno juice or whatever. Yeah, that red stuff.
Doug Ellisor checking in. Good morning to you, Cop.
Hello,
Tom
Cop.
Price. Now, the mayor, good morning. What does Kelly Fromer say? She says when she got her nails done, the man said that we have too much freedom in this country. He said that in this country, it just went away. If they tell you to stay home or wear a mask, you'd do it. He said that if you protested, you'd get shot in the head or thrown in jail.
That's where he
That's where he
lived?
was from, yeah. In his country. Wow.
He thought that was good.
I don't know. Well, I don't fault people when they've been raised in a communist system like that. I think people, they don't know any different, right? The government has always provided a meager subsistence living for them. And they've always been told what to do, when to do it, how to act, how to believe. And they use exactly what he just said, the threat of violence or killing you or your family to keep you in line. And they've been propagandized so bad they don't know any different.
I saw a deal on Twitter the other day that
Adam Sugar says too much freedom ain't no such thing.
That's exactly right. There was a lady.
I think you get to the anarchy side of things, and maybe there is.
You got to work within social norms, and I mean you've got to work within agreed upon societal, frameworks. I did see a lady the other day who was a law professor in Michigan. I think at the University of Michigan, said, can we all just agree that if you're in public and you're not wearing a mask, you're not brave, you're just inconsiderate. And I sent back, can we all agree that doctors have said wearing a mask when you're not sick compromises your immune system?
I'm not buying that. I don't buy you're just breeding bacteria on your upper lip.
I've had several doctors say that. I don't think I think the mask makes you feel good, but like you said, you pointed out that it gives people a false sense of security and they get all up in your space. It doesn't do any good for you to wear a mask and me to wear a mask if we're out there hugging each other with our masks on.
If we're the only two wearing masks, then we can't repopulate the earth when we're the last two living.
Right. Well, you and I'd have a hard time repopulating the earth anyway, cowboy.
So that'd be interesting.
Although you are Canadian.
I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know. It could happen. I'm just saying. Maybe you're.
Well, sure.
Maybe you
we invented radio.
Right. Oh wow! Now we're gonna
get
into Canadian
insulin,
Hall of Fame.
Hockey, lacrosse,
basketball.
Even the first game of baseball might have actually been played in Canada.
Could have been, sure.
First game of football was definitely played in Canada.
Yeah.
University of Toronto.
Is that right?
Against I believe against Harvard.
Against Texas.
Yeah.
What was that? Dome.
Something came up here. I'm not sure what that was.
That was Frank Henderson. Did you see Frank?
Yep.
Interesting cat.
Jeremy Pena said he called
sorta.
He said he called out Bear County yesterday and their mandatory masks there. I mean, but here's the thing: I'm not if a business wants you to wear a mask to go into it, to me that's their right. And if you don't, and then go find another business if you don't want to wear a mask going into that.
Right, they reserve the right to refuse service to anybody.
If
no shoes, no shirt, no mask, no service. I get that.
Yeah. So I'm not.
I tell you who's meeting you more than halfway. That's Veracruz. Veracruz will meet you at the
man.
curb. You can call in.
They'll take it right to your home if you need them.
They'll take it to your house, whatever you need. They have adapted.
Contactless delivery.
Here's a great example of a small, local, family-owned business that has adapted to the situation and is thriving.
Flawlessly.
Not begging the community to bail them out, not reaching out to the city for help, doing what it takes to get the job done. Veracruz. Veracruz to go, Veracruz delivery, Veracruz curbside. I recommend the enchilada casserole.
Missed Caldo Wednesday, so now you got to wait a week.
Yep, no doubt about it. It's Thursday. Reach out to them. Razor IT Solutions. By the way, their number at Veracruz, 576-6015.
Yeah, their full menu is available online, too. You don't just have to get the enchilada casserole. They'll make everything you – they probably got the best chicken mole in town.
Yep. What is it?
6015. 6015.
All right, 576.
576-6015.
Razor IT Solutions. John Paul Hull and his team
I
will help
sound
you.
like the guy plugging the gun show.
Right.
Gun show.
Sunset Gun Show. Or WWE, get into it's Monday. Anyway, Razor IT Solutions, John Paul Hull and his team will help you with your analytics, help you build your brand, help you with your Facebook and internet presence, tie those two together, let your accounting software talk to your new paywall button. If you want to collect funds for a service you're providing online, reach out to JP Hall at Razor IT, R-A-Z-O-R, Razor IT Solutions. The Atzenhower dealership since 1926, quite simply, Victoria's dealership. I said stacking them deep, selling them cheap. Tommy Taylor retorted, selling cars like candy bars. He goes, I got 1,000 of them. We've been in the business since 1926.
They know what they're doing, folks. And they'll give you a great deal.
Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi.
Mazda for the Canadians, if they want to come down here.
Mazda, sorry. They got it all. Paint and body shop, all makes and models serviced in all the great.
This might be the
pre-owned.
summer of seeing the USA in a Chevrolet because you're certainly not going to be flying anywhere.
Right? Just get in the car by yourself, put on your
Yep.
mask, and look silly. Drive around by yourself. White Trash Services, BJ Nelson and her team, Scott, the roll-off queen, they're all out there. 550-1826. Their empire is growing. They've got white trucks, they've got black trucks, they've got it all. They've got roll-off dumpsters, they've got weekly trash service, serving 5 counties. Six counties.
5 plus Victoria. That's
Yeah,
6.
6 counties.
You always forget to count yourself when you count a group, right?
I feel like I'm doing Chisholm Bob. 6. Yeah, they got it. 550-1826. If you call and ask for BJ, you get Ms. Nelson on the phone. You don't have to talk to a robot. Press 1 now. That doesn't happen.
Nope, not there.
Does not happen. Great folks, great friends of the show, and another local business supporting your forum.
Give us a call, 361-575-9509 if you want to
We
talk
have
about
tons
anything.
to talk
Yeah.
about, but you got something you want to talk about? Call us. You got a question? Call us. Let's play Stump Ash. Not me.
John Hodden says also the first mass shooting was in Canada.
Johnny Hawk,
Thank us for
bring
that
it
too.
in.
I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
Little known fact, Jack the Ripper once wanted to go to Canada.
I will say,
I mean, let's
I
just
think
find
Ted
something
Bundy
maybe.
tried to get to Canada at some
Yeah,
point in his tours as well. He may have actually managed to
Charles
get there.
Manson committed mayhem
Did not go to Canada.
because he couldn't get to Canada.
That was why.
Everything comes through Canada. Ash, former KGB operative, young, trained, multilingual, German, French. He speaks them all, folks. Don't let him kid you. Yeah, he's got a chip in his neck. It's old. It's an old school chip. It's kind
Sticks
of
out a little bit now.
Yeah,
it's kind of.
it ain't like
It's like the microchip on a dog. It's moved and now you can see it.
right.
Yeah.
Hang on. No, on the back of Ash's neck,
My shirts, even my T-shirts are tailored just to get the color up a little bit so you don't see it.
it comes over and goes up. If we can on Ash's
You see
neck,
when I get my T-shirts hung up on it when I'm trying to get dressed in the morning, it turns into
it
a
looks like you're hanging on a hanger.
yeah,
Hey,
very
it's
much so.
like this.
Like
It's
I'm in the stockade in the middle
Yeah.
of town square.
It's a tomato.
It's hard.
Ash's neck picks up 147 channels and HBO. So you've got that going for you if you're out of the tooth for it.
Netflix and Hulu as well.
There you go. It's modern day. All right, caller, what you got? Okay. Thank you.
BJ,
Well,
how are
it's
you?
Thursday. We were just kind of
We're
going
kind
down
of giddy
that.
because it's almost Friday, and we're finally getting some rain.
But BJ, you've seen those old spy movies, even if you watch old James Bond movies, that I can remember as a kid saying, wow, what if someday they've got that for real? And of course, we have all of that and much more now. But
But there's still a lot of stuff in those old movies that still is still beyond the.
But when
I mean,
I
it's
was
still
a little
science
guy,
fiction.
I mean a little guy, and I used to read the comics every day, Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy had a watch that you could talk into.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, and that was years before the mobile phone, not the portable phone, but the mobile phone didn't exist.
Shows you how old you are. Those are now referred to as graphic novels.
Huh? It's a comic strip. But let me tell you. Oh, you're interrupting us. Okay. Hey, take over. It's your show. You pay for it. Go ahead. Where'd she go?
Uh-oh, where'd she go?
Where did we go?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
There we go. Okay.
Oh, there you go. It was an Amber Alert. It's on my phone. Wait, it says blonde-headed Baylor graduate lost babbling driving around. Oh, that's you. Okay, go ahead. We're good. We found her. We found her. Right. Aggressive Growth Fund 401k. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or I'm happy with my 3% annually, and that's all I want.
Right. 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 I'm not
The
like
way
running
we're
up to
put-
people
yeah.
and pulling their masks down.
The way we're printing money, treasury bonds might be the riskiest investment out there.
Right. Hey, you just made me think of something because you pulled off something I've never been able to do, BJ. Anytime I've ever started a conversation with, I probably shouldn't say this, but it's always gone bad for me. And for you, you pulled it off. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to get down the road.
For sure.
Well, you guys are doing a
Appreciate
great
it.
job.
Thanks,
and
BJ.
it's been a joy
It's a
for
good
us
analogy.
to watch you grow.
Thank you very much.
Y'all are doing great.
Have a trash-tastic day.
Bye.
Bye.
So there's BJ Nelson, the
Yeah.
boss.
Let me throw the disclaimer out there real quick, though. Given her analogy, past performance is not indicative of future value.
This
so.
is neither an offer to purchase or a solicitation of funds.
Review the prospectus.
Please see the prospectus. May cause diarrhea, vomiting, loss of vision,
Nausea,
hair on your knuckles.
temporary.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
There you go. What did Bob Constantine say? When he writes a paragraph like that, it usually matters.
And he says, how about the mayor of Amarillo putting out a directive to her city stating that you can no longer pay with cash? Businesses are refusing cash. I'm just wondering if the service industry will refuse a tip in cash. I see it as government overreach.
I do too.
I don't know how you can put on, well, I mean, we've done so many things that tend to go against our constitution, but I don't know how you can order people to refuse legal tender. I don't see how it's possible.
I don't know how you can do it either, but it does make sense that if I've got COVID and I reach in my wallet and buy a soda and cough my dry cough on it, that the next thing you know, somebody else touches it and they could have it too. I think that there ought to be. It is kind of leading you towards. It's leading
Well,
you towards the
put
chip in your hand.
if we had better dollars, if we put like copper fibers into them and silver fibers, that would get rid of the virus that lives on it. We'd be better.
So what if you had a chip in your hand and you had to like slide? You know the way those blowers are when you dry your hands.
Yeah,
And you wanted to pay for something, and you had to slip your hand in there to pay for it, and you were overdrawn, and it just lopped off a finger. Do you think it'd be a lot of hot checks? I bet not. Actually, probably just as many.
Probably.
And then they go, "Oh, it's bad. I'm sorry. Refund. You don't get your finger back."
No, just falls into it.
You're like Ronnie Lott. You're 9-finger Ronnie. You think that guy wanted to win? Just lopped off his finger to play in the Super Bowl?
Why wouldn't
Wow.
You? Stephen Kidder, good morning to you. Says the chip is next.
Yeah, the chip is here. It exists. The technology is there. Ash has a transistor. You have to change the 9-volt battery in the chip in Ash's neck.
That's why it sticks out a little bit.
It just looks like a.
But you should have seen it back before
like
when it was that big flashlight battery.
Dr. Pimple Popper takes out like a BJ's going to have to call back. We're going down that path again. We'll stop. We'll stop.
But there would be promise. Microchips get lost dogs home. Imagine the issues with dementia and Alzheimer's and the silver alerts if there was some sort of, and I'm not saying implanted, but maybe a wearable microchip or similar to the old, ID bracelets that would.
That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. An option of an ID bracelet that has a chip in it. You don't have to necessarily stick it under your skin. It's like, ooh, sorry, that looks infected. That's my wallet. Don't touch my wallet. Somebody might cut off your hand just to use your hand to pay for things.
So is anybody else kind of noticing these COVID shutdowns are really starting to fall along political lines? And it makes you wonder what the backroom dealings from Nancy Pelosi have been promised.
If California opens up, we can't
talked about. Because you look at the states that are just absolutely going into even more shutdown mode, right? State of Washington, I think, went through 3 more months or something. I mean, it's getting crazy now.
Yeah.
But very much Democrat-led. And it just makes you wonder what Pelosi has told them on the back end, especially when she comes out early this week or in the last week and, propose another $3 trillion quote stimulus. And again, absolutely the wrong moniker for this thing. It ain't a stimulus plan. It's a buy your vote and slippery slope into socialism.
The only time you ever heard the word trillion ever was when we were talking about the national debt and the cost of the Afghani war. That's it. Now we just give it away. $1 billion is just no big deal anymore.
No. And Pablo Perez checks in and he says a very, very good point. What's the difference between handling cash and a card when you have to touch a keypad that everybody else has touched?
No difference.
None. Exactly.
Which shows that this paranoia over the pandemic is irrational and illogical.
And makes you lose all sorts of ability to think because you're still touching each one with your hands.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Pablo, for pointing out
that's
obvious.
Great point.
But you can't make that point to somebody in government because they'll shut you down and shut you up.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's amazing. There's videos that get pulled off the internet every day.
Well, it's not government and they're private enterprise. They're no different than telling somebody with a mask without a mask they can't come into your store. I mean, people forget that.
You know, the
YouTube,
leans on that?
Facebook. Well, I don't know. Hard to say. Maybe.
I still got those pictures of your aunt. I need you to pull that video.
James Curse is handling cash or
business.
Or may not report it on taxes. Well, that's between you and your maker there, James Curse.
Yeah, James. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, bro. How about Uncle Mud's barbecue? Give unto your belly what your belly wants,
bro.
Brisket, ribs, sausage, chicken, great turkey, all the side dishes. If you've never had Uncle Mud's rice, well, where you been? Get you some. Go in there and get. By the way, Ash bringing me some radishes and some zucchini, or
and salsa.
Keep them in the fridge.
Someday,
and just throw them out when they're not good anymore. But they've got pinto beans, green beans, fried corn, pea salad, coleslaw, potato salad, fried shrimp, ball shrimp, shrimp etouffee. They got it all. Get over to Uncle Mutt's today. Drive through, pick it up. Doesn't take any time at all. They're super quick. You don't even have to sign for your card. They just do it. They put a 30% tip. Boom, you're out of there.
Look at James Kurth backtracking. Not me in capital letters. I'm just saying we all know what happens.
No tip. I'm kidding. Get by Uncle Mutt's today. You'll be glad you did. Gray Barn Design. Reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803. She'll help you plan your next party, quinceañera, reunion. If you want to have a
Wedding,
it doesn't have to be a big deal, and it doesn't have to cost you an arm and a leg.
anniversary party, graduation party that didn't happen.
This started out as a hobby for Cheryl, helping people get their stuff together, and the next
Still
thing
a
you
hobby.
know, people it's still a hobby to you're turning a profit. No, they still want you. They say, hey, well, don't do it for free. Come help me. I need your help. I need your eye. I need your expertise. And now she's starting to gather some stuff to make it even more interesting for her and for you. Reach out, 920-6803, and let Cheryl be a part. She ain't going to charge you just to talk to you.
No,
Give her a call.
she's very good at what she does.
Absolutely.
And I'm not just saying that, but
Yeah, no, I know you're not. And I've seen her work. And
she doesn't let me decorate the house, and there's a reason.
No, and your house is gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
There you go.
I have absolutely no hand in it other than staying out of it.
Right. Although you probably bake at least as well as she does.
She doesn't bake.
Right. There you go.
I could be the worst baker on earth and technically bake better than she
She ain't
does.
gonna do it. She's over there sloshing that red vino. Hey, cheesecake. Anyway, Went Generators, Went Services, Went Electrical, Went Plumbing, they've got it all. But if you reach out to Went Generators, you're going to find out that you can now put solar panels on your property that feed a battery backup pack that will hold power for you for when it's dark. It used to be that the solar panels were great during the day, but the storing of the power was just not economical.
No,
Generac,
couldn't do it.
a great American company, has developed a battery bank where you can, it almost looks like an old, like the heaters you used to see on the wall, but there's slots in there to hold batteries. Power goes in there. I don't know it. I don't know how it works. Who wrote the Book of Love? I don't know. I'm just glad we got it. Reach out to Went. It's that time of year. You're sneaking up on storm season. Now's a great time to get a Went generator, and it's also a great time to reach out to them for their solar service. Do it. Went Generators.
Right there on 87.
Oh,
We'll
yeah.
Stop in and see him.
Just out past Sun Valley on the left.
So it's kind of getting interesting, and the hashtag Obamagate is blowing up social media, particularly Twitter.
Americans are tired.
39 people, 39 individuals requested the unmasking of Michael Flynn. Going
Yeah.
back to old NSA documents in December alone, folks. You can't tell me that all of a sudden 39 people in Congress or somewhere on the Democrat side got a light bulb went off at the same time.
Right.
There wasn't a cohesive effort to try to get this done. I was listening to an analyst who said from 2001 to 2005, the person he worked for who had the ability to make these requests did it 10 times in a 4-year period.
And this Judge Sullivan that was granting some of the I guess FISA and all that stuff. This guy has called Flynn a traitor, a treasonous traitor, and all this kind of stuff. It's like the judge is now. So they're going to get these people. Flynn's been relieved of any action, but now they're
And
going
his
to write.
wealth.
They're going to write something bad about him and get that into the record. And it's not going to. He won't ever be prosecuted. But the reality is they've ruined the man's life. And this is like a 2-star general that had been a faithful trooper.
The NSA, right? NSA advisor.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Adam Schiff's name all over this thing. If not treason, what
That guy's
sedition?
such a
I
punk.
mean, it's.
How long would Adam Schiff make it in Texas? That guy is such a little beady-eyed punk.
Well, he probably needs to resign. That would be the honorable thing to do. But
he ain't
has
going to
no
do
honor.
it.
No,
There ain't no way he's going to
No.
resign.
Nope. And the voters in New York probably never get rid of him because that's just the spineless they are.
They played a deal the
don't
other
care
day
because
of
they
him endlessly. I mean, it was just loot of, well, the evidence, the obvious evidence, the unbelievable amounts of evidence, the perfect evidence. evidence. And now the other day he finally said, "Oh well, we actually had no evidence."
Well, and it's interesting because he delayed and took every action he could to delay the release of all these transcripts that led up to basically blowing the cover on the Michael Flynn thing. And I believe it was the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal was going to release them this week. And so he finally went ahead and said, "Okay, let's release them."
Wow.
Because he knows he's, and I'm sure he probably controlled it somehow, but I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And then it all started, 39 requests to unmask him in December. And when they say that phone call with the Russian ambassador or whatever back in late December, this predates that even. So we're talking about some issue. And then all of a sudden, our former president's name gets attached to this.
Is he going to face any real scrutiny?
Well, I don't know. But it's hard to believe that a meeting that he was in on January 17th, 3 days before the inauguration of January 20th, 2017, where he was supposedly briefed on this. And I mean, this could have gone three ways in that meeting, right? He finds out the depth of this thing and says, and if he was an honorable man, he would have said, "Stop it right now. This goes no further." He walks away from that meeting and doesn't say a word. Or he says, "Carry on as you were."
So here's what you need to know. Barack Obama was never, ever, even remotely his own president. He was always a puppet controlled by those that put him into office. So when they told him, "Here's what we're going to do," Barack Obama said, dutifully, "Carry on." They basically told him the machine that put you in office is going to be the machine that tries to take Trump out. And he said, "Well, come see, come saw, I'm gone. I'm out of here."
Why are you speaking French?
I just had to do it. The reality is he's not an honorable man. He was never his own president. He was always a puppet. So of course he's going to say, "Carry on. The machine must go on."
And probably smart enough to realize that he wasn't Nixon and said, "Let's go record the DNC."
Right.
But I'm failing to see how this isn't almost an exact equivalent, minus that little fact that at some point he knew, well, he was still the president.
No doubt. No doubt.
And we've spent, I don't know how much money on this thing. We've ruined lives. We've wasted taxpayer dollars to the tunes of several hundreds of millions of dollars, if not probably into the billions at this point.
Correct.
To getting to a bullcrap impeachment trial based on all this crap.
Exactly.
And you've got arms of the government setting up American citizens, spying on American citizens. And then this week you got Mitch McConnell wanting to extend the Patriot Act.
Yep.
So Republicans aren't they're not there, but you got McConnell trying to extend the Patriot Act. Come on.
You're right. Look at James Curtis and the Morgans, Rockefellers, Gates, Soros. They're all the puppeteers. Back in the day, there was who was the guy that died several years ago that was one of the big Trilateral Commission guys. David Rockefeller was one of them that died. And now it's like the male. Soros is 90. Henry Kissinger is 90. These one world government people are they're passing the torch to Bill Gates. You're seeing more and more public comment by Bill Gates, and
I'm not 100% convinced on the Bill Gates thing. He wasn't the nicest guy when he ran Microsoft. I have a different theory on that, but we won't get into that because we don't have time today. But I'm not going there yet. I haven't seen enough true evidence outside of conspiracy theorists with a lot of this stuff. So I'm not giving Gates a pass, but I don't believe
I think he's a raging liberal.
No, I don't doubt about that. And it's always do as I say, not as I do. Here's a guy who lives in a concrete home on a lake in Seattle. And you know, and again,
James Kerr says the Bushes were on board. I don't have a doubt about that either. I mean, I liked W. I'm going to tell you what I really believe about George W. Bush Jr. Bush Sr., I do believe, was a New World Order guy. I think that he saw enough in his time in World War II, and he saw enough in his time in the CIA to say there's a lot bigger forces at work than just the Republicans and the Democrats.
It might have his pocket lined a little bit.
No doubt about it. But W, as a dude, I think was a pretty solid guy. And I'll go a step further and tell you that I voted for the guy twice, voted for him as governor. He ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. George W. Bush Jr., you know, the little W was no genius. He was no policy strategist. He was a strategery guy, a nuclear. You know, let's don't confuse this guy with you know, Reagan and Trump.
Surgeon.
Yeah, Reagan and Trump have the, you know, the charisma side, and people like Kennedy were great thinkers, Bay of Pigs notwithstanding. And then you look at it and say, there's Bush, and he's in there somewhere. He's kind of charismatic, kind of cowboy. Hey, we're going to go over there. We're going to find them weapons. You know they're there. I'm going to go over there and kick Saddam Hussein's butt for my daddy. That's what we're going to do. It's going to cost a couple $100 billion. You're going to be glad that you elected me. Thank you. Go Rangers. That's what he was. He went over there and settled a score for his dad.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? You know, and you got to give George H. credit. I don't know if there's another Yankee that was able to move to Texas and basically make everybody forget that he was originally a Yankee.
And then he spent most of his last years in Kennebunkport. Of course, he had a beautiful home in Tanglewood right there in Houston. But then there was Jeb Bush. You know, I want to be like my daddy and my brother. Not from Florida.
Yeah.
He wasn't that sharp either.
No. But, I mean, that's why I believe in term limits. I mean, if you get 2 terms, you're not going to end up being coerced, cajoled. I think it would reform the lobby industry.
Well, Adam Daughtry pointed out that Bush seems to be good friends with the Obamas and the Clintons. I know that he wasn't necessarily a great friend of the Clintons early when he first took office, but I've seen too many video. It's more than being gracious, especially George W. and Michelle Obama have a real friendship. And that's fine. I mean, I'm politics are one thing, but
enemies in business are friends too.
But these guys are, they're not
competitors in business are friends.
It's not a photo op. They like each other. I think either he always has on hand for her or vice versa, like a mint when they're in public.
But I don't. That's part of the problem in this country right now. I can get along with people that don't share the same views as me politically, religiously, whatever. Sports-wise, I'm friends with fans who aren't Dallas Cowboys fans or Calgary Flames fans or Astros fans.
That's where I draw the line. I'm drawing the line there.
I haven't excommunicated my daughter who's a Texans fan.
See, that's like, it's. I mean, like you can't punish her more. Well, she's already punished herself.
Yeah, true. Although the Cowboys have not won a championship in her lifetime either.
Stop it. Troy Aikman coming out of the booth. But you know what we got to do?
I know we got the brother man in here, and I was saving this for him.
Tell him.
Saving this for him. I teased it at the start of the show, but we're saving it for the brother man. But you know, I just don't buy that. Well, look, there's a picture of Bush and the Clintons and the Obamas. People can be friends outside of, you know, I'm friends with other ADs. We might compete on the field, but I still can talk to them and hang with them.
Yeah. There you go.
But you've got to be, but it doesn't mean
poignant, pertinent information, brother man. We're bringing it to you every day.
Conrad asked, what if she starts cheering for the Oilers? Well, she's already a Bruins fan, but she knows enough wrong Oilers.
Now, brother man, this is Wade and Carter. It's Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Where's your favorite radio show on Thursday?
Right here, Wade and Carter and Magic 95.
I didn't want to make him reach out too far. He might go, just glad to be here with you, Joe. I didn't know what you were going to say.
Yeah. Love you, Egan.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Egan called me. I did a little something with this nation, too. You know that?
Hey, well, you're the man.
I love it. Well, let me give you a couple of quick things
Yeah.
to get Ralph in there. Ralph is gone yesterday. He went to San Antonio and worked up there.
We locked
on
the door.
other station. Yeah, thank y'all.
We did. We locked up.
So he's gonna get in here quickly. The Victoria Fire Department's gonna have a blood drive starting Sunday through next Saturday appointment. Do it at the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, but they're sponsoring it. They do it every year. Will Martin called me, boys. I'm gonna give you one other event and maybe one sports and then.
Yeah.
That one's running all week.
You know what? I missed a
17th
call.
through the 23rd, that blood drive.
I owe Will Martin a call. I missed a call
I
from him.
talked to him yesterday and the day before. We're doing some stuff.
Tell us what's going on.
Okay, we're gonna have the Memorial Day ceremony. We'll be downtown on the 25th. That is a Monday. And Will reached out. We're gonna do that 11 o'clock that Monday, Dayon Plaza. They're gonna have speakers. They're gonna have, we're gonna lay the wreaths and of course taps. So it's gonna be short and service, but we're gonna do that to honor those that have served our country.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful ceremony too. I've gone. It's very nice.
I got one for you, brother.
Yes, sir, and I got one for you.
Because the Twitter sphere was all abuzz about comments that Joe Buck had made
Your guy.
regarding NFL football, and that they were going to pump in crowd noise. They were going to do computer-generated imagery for crowds so that viewers aren't looking. And people were absolutely aghast that this would happen. The same people that have no problem going to watch a movie where the actor just stands in front of a green screen behind them and everything. I mean, movies are already fake anyway. I mean, we're not getting into wrestling here, but no problem with that. The same people that have no problem praising the ingenuity of Ronald Reagan when he faked baseball broadcasts to get his start into the industry.
Right.
Which was kind of the standard back then.
Well, somewhat, but I don't see how everybody knows there's going to be nobody in the stands, but it's going to look weird because, and honestly, when I watch a sports game and there's nobody in the stands, that's a lot of your focus. How can that team survive when there's nobody there?
It's like Baylor football with the tarp of shame. There's nobody there.
And is it any different if you're pumping in crowd noise to cheer when a play is made? How is that any different than the fake laughs in a sitcom that isn't?
We saw forever.
Yeah,
and then we knew.
Well,
We
wait.
laughed with them.
What about this? Couldn't we go back if we've got this CGI technology and all that? Can't we go back and make Des Bryant catch that pass?
Oh my God!
Can't we go back and have Tony Romo get that field goal down?
Can't we go back and make Dwight Clark drop that ball?
Right out of the grass. Right out of the grass.
Can't Everson Walls grow 6 inches and knock it away?
It's not the same without fans in the stands.
No, it's not.
It's not.
But I do wonder. Would you rather watch NFL football or no? I mean, would you rather watch a game with nobody in the stands or not watch a game at all?
Yeah, you got there's that. Because you want a game.
Well, but here's the other thing. Fox is trying to get people back on the payroll.
Sure.
Jalen Kerr says fake laughs on the way. Do we have a laugh track somewhere?
Well, we're gonna
I don't think we do.
See if we got
football
one.
with people on the stands.
Yes, sir.
Let me give you a quick one. Favored to win the MVP for the NFL. The odds came out. All right. Who do you think won last year?
No, we're playing the applause track right now.
That's all I have. I don't have a laugh track.
We don't have laughs.
Yeah, you know who won it last year is favored again.
Okay. Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City boy.
Mahomes. He's just gonna say Mahomes.
Yeah. All right. Who do you think second? He's Tampa Bay boy.
Brady is second.
Brady is second to win favored to win the MVP NFL, and third is a Cowboy.
Dak.
Dak Prescott.
Wow, they're trying to get Dak paid. The union must have put that out.
Yeah, they put Dak on third, and of course the Seahawk is number 4. We just go for it.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. Now, listen what they're going to pay Pat Mahomes. Last thing, and then we'll get the boys in here. Pat Mahomes. They're rumored his contract will be for 5 years. Kansas City Chief guy for $225 million. That's $45 million a year.
Wow.
Guaranteed $170 million.
That's like Gary Moses money.
170 cents.
That's crazy.
They're going to give him 5 years, 225, 170 of that.
Guaranteed money.
$45 million a year.
You want to know what I would do, honestly. Now you may say, "Well, no, you can't turn it off. You got to. You give me $170 million guaranteed. I'm going to pay my agent and all these other people. I'm going to have about $100 million left over.
No, you won't, because before taxes, you're only going to have about half of 170.
Yeah, 85 million. So let's just say I sneak out of there with $80 million cash. You know where I'll be at 30. I'd be in Cabo on my boat called Goodbye. My boat would be called Goodbye.
What show?
Yeah. It'd be Wade and the Ghost.
What show?
Wade and the Ghost of Brent Mahomes.
I'll save y'all a couple of them for next time.
But brother man, we love you. Period. We love you coming in. Thank you,
Bob
sir.
Constantine says he spent too much time laughing when they accidentally put Bugs Bunny in the stands. That would be awesome. Drop little, what do they call those, Easter eggs like they do in video games? They should
like
do
Waldo.
stuff.
Put Waldo.
Yep, they should do stuff like that, and then you could have a whole social media campaign to get you to next week's game. Brent Anderson is a great idea, though. ESPN should start the MNF Electric Football Series, season opener, Dallas, Tampa Bay, and televise it.
That'd be awesome. And you could do the ones with
That's the electric football. And CBC could do Hockey Night in Canada with the old rod hockey
That'd
games.
be awesome.
Tabletop
Hey, one
hockey.
last thought for you to give you a visual for the CGI type stuff. I saw it the other day. So the guy is laying on the ground outside of an open car door, and there's a dog like barking right in his face. He's got the dog by the neck. That's what you see in the scene. The police dog is on him, and he's got the dog by the neck. When they show you the real scene, there's a really skinny, fit person in a green suit with a hand puppet going, and the guy's got the guy by the arm. And then they dub in the dog's body. And it looks like,
effects.
yeah, it looks like the guy's being hammered by a dog, and it's not even. I used to say, man, how do they train that dog to bark right in that guy's face without biting him?
They used to have.
Yeah, but
Not
now
anymore.
it's just a puppet.
Yeah.
There you go.
You know what'll happen? Some hacker will get in there and CGI some female fan exposing herself.
Yeah. You might as well have all that stuff.
Yeah,
And you can
right.
control the crowd. Then you start wondering, did it really happen? Did the game really happen that way? If nobody was there to see it, if a tree falls in a
But
forest
it'll be on.
and no one's there, is the man still wrong? These are things we don't know.
Always.
We got to get out of here, folks. Thanks for listening. Have a great
Appreciate
day.
you tuning in.